in today's time of the college football world, the NIL era, and all of the things that are going on, guys are getting paid boatloads of money. Matt Rule said it, the head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He said that if you want a good quarterback in the transfer portal, it's probably going to cost you $1 million to $2 million. And with the way that these guys are making money, we've talked about in the past on this show of how at some point they're going to have to probably start putting out some kind of salary cap or something like that, or they're going to have to cap it some kind of way. And once they do that, they're going to have to make it to where these kids, all of their money is going to be public and made to be able to be seen by the media and the public and fans and all of those things like that. The same way that we know how much NFL players are making. But with that, like, is it truly going to be fair that you can call a kid a bust? Like, obviously, we see that they're a bust because of what they do on the field and things like that, but because of the amount of money that they're about to start making, the same way that people talk about, NFL bust of, how they did in the NFL. You think about a Ryan Leaf, you think about a Jamarcus Russell, and so many other guys. Will there be college players receiving the same type of heat of if they're a bust or not because of the amount of money that they're making? We had this conversation starting it off at this pizza place there in New Orleans, and we started talking about that, and I thought there'd be something that we could bring up again. So, Elijah, the same way that we were talking about it the other day, will kids truly be considered a bust? Like, will a kid like Bryce Underwood be considered a bust if he does not win a national championship at the University of Michigan?
I hate that logic, only because they're kids. Um, Personally, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, because to me, with speaking of Bryce, we're giving him LeBron expectations, and he never even touched a football in the college world, let alone the pro world. I want to say no, but I get the aspect of it. If you pay him, well, people are gonna say, "Well, we pay him all this money and do this, and that." I get it. I get you. I get you. But these kids was on full scholarships before. I know they wasn't touching no money like that. They was on full scholarships and they didn't deliver. Um, I feel like if you're gonna call people bust, then you need to keep that in the same energy, the same field. And I'm not saying that Shador's a bad player, but is he a bust because he didn't win a national championship? I mean, when Dion first walked into Colorado, he said, "I'm bringing Louis." If you all remember, that Louis didn't make the conference championship game. So are we calling him a bust? And I know that Shador's not touching Bryce money, but at the end of the day, man, I don't like that because these are kids. These are like they're coming fresh out of high school and things of that nature. So when they get to the pros, that's different. The pros is a little different for me. College is you're fresh out, you're still learning the basics. Nine times out of 10, you didn't learn how to really play football. You just was more athletic than everybody else. Um, that's the truth about it. Like it's not like they really understood the game coming out of high school. They're just more athletic. Uh, Quarterbacks, some of them have bigger arms, some of them are bigger, some of them stuff like that. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's not like they had full knowledge and full grasp of a football game yet. So I hate that logic in that sense, but I understand it. But I would never agree with it because I just think, like I said, these kids are just they're just kids, man. They're still learning, they're still growing, they're still putting things together. Um, and on top of that, man, on top of that, it's only could be one national champion. There's like 118 teams, college teams, I think, in Division One or 117, something like that. 117 not going. I guarantee it's going to be the same 10 teams that's competing for the next 10 years. So we're not going to see anybody have a lot of chances in that sense. So if you don't call him a bust for not winning the championship, uh, I can't agree with it. But if you call that man a bust because he didn't live to his expectations of not playing well, not winning a Heisman, because you can play well and not win a championship. Like you could play. Jaden Daniels played well. Him and Malik played well in their last year at LSU, but they weren't contending to win the championship. So if Bryce plays well and he doesn't win a championship, that doesn't mean that he's a bust, guys. And that's where I'm going with it. It's just let's not just call people a bust because they make X amount of dollars and they didn't deliver on that championship. Because Football is 11 man, is a team sport. It's not just one guy. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. I do think that it's not fair to these kids because a lot of them, they're coming out of high school, they're 18 years old. By the time they leave college, if they play for 5 years with a red shirt, which most of them don't make it to their fifth year, a lot of guys are leaving their junior years or their red shirt sophomore years. They're between 20 to 22. And you got some guys that in their careers that they are kind of late bloomers. Like you don't like a lot of guys that might be a 5 star might not be a 5 star talent in college, but say that they go and get into the NFL and they go become a superstar. You know what I'm saying? Like I think about a guy like Mason Smith for LSU. Was playing phenomenal, tore his ACL, and came back for another year afterward, and wasn't exactly as explosive as what he was in the past. It still was a second round pick. Is he a bust? That's to be determined. He could go and be 4 years in the NFL and then have a breakout fifth year, get a big contract, play 2 or 3 great years. Is he not a great player at that point? I get that it's a what have you done for me lately type of, you know, sporting realm that we're in. And because there are so many dollars and cents put on top of these games and the sports betting and the NIL collectives and all of these things that are going on, it's easy for people to say, oh, this kid's a bust. Like I've seen people talking about Sage Ryan under the post that I made about him entering the portal. He just wasn't good enough to play here. He's a bust. Bro, what that kid is like 21, 20? He came there in 2021 as a freshman. He didn't play right out the bat. They played him at nickel. They played him at boundary corner. And last year, or this current season that we're still under, he played safety, which is his kind of natural position, right? And he finally had a pretty good year. Pro Football Focus, he was, I think, like the second or third best defensively ranked player on the whole team. So it's not really fair to him to say that he's a bust because he didn't ask to be a 5 star. I just once you hear 5 star, you expect that man to be Superman. Like we're not going to see a whole lot of LeBron Jameses and Travis Hunters, and those are once in a lifetime type of people, and everybody thinks that they have the next LeBron. Everybody thinks that they have the next Travis. Bro, just be you. Just be you. Let those kids develop and turn into whoever they are, and let them be them. I get that they're making lots of money, and that now takes it to where this is no longer him being an amateur and a amateur sport anymore and all this stuff. They're a professional now because of the type of the money that they're making, bro. But they still kids. Like Jakeem Stewart, the kid at Carr that just signed with USC, he gonna enroll, and I think he's still gonna be 17. Like if he don't play well in 2 seasons, what will he be like? 18 or 19 years old? Is he a bust? No, because he's like 18 or 19 years old. He's got time to still develop. There's so many different people that I could probably name on and on and on that truly are not busts. So I don't think it's fair to say that any college kid could be considered a bust right off the bat, regardless of how much money they're making or the expectation. Because truthfully, a lot of these kids are not probably asking for this. It's just what the market value dictates. Think about it. Bryce Young, I'm sure he has some form of representation, but I think LSU was going to pay him like 1.5 or something like that per year, or something like that. So it would have been like 6 million over 4, right? I mean, I'm sure he wasn't going to turn it down, but I don't think that he was coming right out the gate saying, I need $2 million, I ain't coming, right? But as a result of that 1.5 being laid out there, Michigan absolutely had to, in order to get him to commit there, they had to pull a boatload of money out and say, take it or leave it. That's not his fault. It's just the game. The game is the game, man. The game is the game. So whether you want to agree with it or not, And that's just our takes. We'd still love to hear yours down in the comments. Is it fair to say that a kid can be considered a bust in college?
Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.